When people think of places with logging railroads, they typically think the Southeast, Northwest, or even California. However, very few of them think of Arizona. That's right, northern Arizona has quite an extensive history of logging and, as a result, logging railroads. Though most of them have gone defunct, there is one that, as of the making of this video, is still in regular service, though it has been repurposed in recent years. This is the story of the Apache Railway. The Apache Railway was incorporated in 1917 as part of a push from the U.S. Forestry Service to harvest timber from the White Mountains in northern Arizona. The line would begin construction in Holbrook, Arizona, connecting with the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe main line, and would build south and reach the town of Snowflake by 1918. By 1920, they would extend further south to McNairy, Arizona, bringing their total trackage to 72 miles. Overall, their early history was relatively uneventful. They traded hands multiple times between several different owners, and in the 1930s, during the Great Depression, they were placed in receivership. After World War II, as with many railways, they began to dieselize with the purchase of two H-10-44 diesel locomotives built by Fairbanks Morse. However, at least in the present day, they're much more known for their use of diesels that were built by the American Locomotive Company, or ALCO for short. Specifically, they use ALCO C420 and C424 diesel locomotives, though technically the C424s were built by Montreal Locomotive Works. But they were just ALCO's Canadian subsidiary, so as far as I'm concerned, they're the same company. So, fight me, I guess. Anyway, the Apache Railway used these locomotives from the 1970s until, hold on, let me check my notes here. They're still in service as of the making of this video. But for now, let's get back to the railroad as a whole. The Apache Railway's main source of traffic for most of its history was the logging camps, carrying various forestry products like lumber, paper, and the like. It's also worth mentioning that the White Mountain Scenic Tourist Railroad also operated steam-powered excursion trains at one point over the Southwest Forest Industries line from McNairy to a logging camp at Maverick. The White Mountain Scenic began operation in 1964, but they would cease operation in 1976 due to deteriorating track conditions. By 1980, the Apache Railway was now the last logging railroad operating in Arizona, and in 1982 they closed their line to McNairy after the sawmill was shut down. After this, the railroad moved their headquarters to their new southern terminus in Snowflake, with their only major customer being the Snowflake paper mill. The railroad continued on in this fashion until 2008, when the mill and the railroad were both purchased by Catalyst Paper. However, just 4 years later, in 2012, Catalyst Paper announced their intentions to close the Snowflake paper mill and dismantle the railroad along with it. The Apache Railway was then sold to Hackman Capital, who would oversee the dismantling of the railway. However, town officials from Snowflake were able to persuade them not to dismantle it right away, as they tried to obtain government loans for agricultural development in the area. Unfortunately, this didn't end up happening, and the railroad entered bankruptcy in 2015. However, after multiple hearings in bankruptcy courts, the Apache Railway was purchased by its current owner, the Aztec Land and Cattle Company. Though efforts to increase traffic are ongoing, the railroad has diversified into general railcar services, such as storage, cleaning, and repairs. Going back to the ALCO-built diesel locomotives, the Apache Railway has become a very popular destination for rail fans. Many articles have variously described the Apache as Arizona's ALCO sanctuary and the realm of the ALCOs. Though their main operational fleet consists of C-420s and C-424s, they did have one Alco RS-38 number 800, which had been sitting in storage for several years. Until 2024, when number 800 was donated by the Apache Railway to the Navajo County Historical Society. As of the making of this video, number 800 is in the process of being moved to the Navajo County Courthouse for static display. As for the Apache Railway as a whole, I think it's safe to say they've definitely left a mark on the history of railroading, at least in Arizona. But only time will tell what the future holds for Arizona's last logging railway. And with that, as always, thank you all for watching. I'm Tim the Train Guy, and bye for now.